Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. My final guest, a guy who's been on the show before, a regular, good man, funny man. Mark DeMayo, welcome back to the show.
What's up,
man.
Artie?
What you plugging anything in particular?
I have my one-man show. It's in March at the Pit, my 20 and out. You remember I was a cop,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, right,
years.
sure.
So before I start, I want to give you something, a little something. It's
Is it Coke?
No, I wish. It's a PB. It's actually a DEA card.
Wow.
I got one. John, I got one for you too.
Now, what does this mean? Like,
That means if you get pulled over,
say I get pulled over with 400 Xanax.
that's gonna be tough. No, I'll be honest.
No, I'm kidding. But that I've never seen a DEA card.
My cell phone number's on the back of that. So you just you know what? Who's not gonna know who you are? But anyway,
It's your cousin Artie, Mark.
if they don't,
No,
hopefully it'll work.
He got a ticket for talking on a cell phone.
I got, well, you know what? It was a woman cop. I'm not going to say anything.
Was he hiding? Was she hiding around the corner?
It was. I was driving down 9th Avenue, over by Bethune over there, and right before it turns into Bank Street, and I was on the cell phone, and they nailed me for it. Yeah. That's the only ticket I've gotten in Manhattan in 20 years.
I was coming over the 57th Street, the 59th Street Bridge, but the 50th, on the corner. The guy actually put the cop, my fellow officer,
right?
And I love everybody.
Sure,
the brothers in blue.
I know you do.
They're my brothers and sisters. But the car was on the sidewalk, so that means you actually parked the car like you could have been driving around and not stand on your feet.
Yeah,
and then he's kind of sort of like he's hiding behind the wall.
Yeah.
And when I pulled up, I had the first spot at the light.
Right.
I'm looking at my phone literally like, because it's plugged in by my lap.
Right.
Then he has me pull over. But, I showed him the ID card, so.
And usually,
usually
they are, I hope it did.
No, yeah, he got me off. But I'm just saying, really, is that what we're doing? We're parking police cars right now
No, I know.
getting out and standing?
I know.
When I got in the car.
That's not good police
No,
work.
you're not good. If I got in a car, you're not getting out of the car.
Now, people, the cops usually, the last like maybe 15 years, they are nice. They recognize me, and they've rarely given me a ticket. But this was a woman cop, and I'm not saying anything against women cops.
No,
either.
they're the toughest, though.
Yeah. And
I got pulled over in Connecticut.
apparently she's not a fan.
And I was still on the job.
Yeah.
I was still on the job, and I got pulled over in Connecticut after a gig. I'm driving home, and I got pulled over.
Right.
So I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I was like, "Could it be because I was speeding, and I don't have my seatbelt on? Might have been on the phone. Like, I'm just completely goofing." I give her my ID card. She takes my ID card. She puts it on the roof of my car.
Right.
So I'm like, "Wow, this girl's serious right now."
Wow.
Yeah. So,
That is something.
Yeah, it sobered me right up.
Do you think? Do you think I sound arrogant? Do you think I should just switch this line when people say, "Do you know why I pulled you over, sir?" And I say, "Because I'm the best comedian in the world."
No, that's good. That would probably work better than the DA card.
I'll tell you what. A lot of cops are funny guys. They really. I mean, because if you think about it, it makes sense. If you're a funny person. Anyway, if you're born funny and you have that in you, and then you throw 20 years as a cop, I mean, you talk about the cynical, you've seen everything, you got to be hilarious, right?
I got a text message from my old boss the other day, and he said, "Man, I miss the joking around that we used to do. Because it was relentless. It was busting each other's chops.
I had buddies who
all
were cops.
day.
They were so funny. I had buddies who were cops. I went on a couple of road trips with them. They were so funny. I mean, really, like the best racist jokes I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
But from all
And
the
my
guys.
sergeant was black, too, so it was like...
Right, from all the guys.
Yeah.
About everybody.
Yeah.
Very, 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 a lot of camaraderie.
Hey, since you had me on again in this is sports show, I got to ask you.
Go ahead.
Well, I got to tell you.
Right.
Because I'm a Met fan. I just want to congratulate you.
You are funny.
I want to congratulate... No, I want to congratulate you because I know you're a Yankee fan.
I
want
am.
to congratulate you.
Thank you.
On getting Tanaka.
Right.
And I just got to say, I'm not a mathematician, but are you guys still squeezing under the 189? Really? You got Tanaka?
The Yankees play dirty, man. They get out the
155 million for
they get
7
out
years?
they get out the checkbook or whatever. But I mean, the Mets aren't exactly the Kansas City Royals.
But don't
Let's calm down.
don't pretend like you're going to be under 189 and then...
Who's pretending? I'm not. Listen, man. The Yankees play dirty. They get out the checkbook and they do what they got to do.
God bless you.
But as a Yankee
was a
fan,
goal
I'm
abandoned.
spoiled. I don't care about
Abandoned
Tanaka.
I hope he's another Miyazaki, whatever that guy's name was.
Listen,
The last bomb.
in my head, he's already another Miyazaki.
Do you know they said that he pitched? I think he threw 160 pitches last year.
Right.
One game, and then he came and he closed the next game.
Yeah. He's one of these new pitchers. I mean, the conditioning and whatever else they're
Yeah.
doing, who knows?
They throw a lot
maybe
more
they'll be able to
pitches
do it.
into
They
it.
throw a lot more pitches, which is huge. Got to take a break.
First game, he's going to blow his arm out.
Oh, thank you. That's very positive. Mark DeMayo, the Artie Lange.
Artie's back.
That's right.
Almost.
Mark DeMayo's here. His one-man show, 20 and Out, at the Pit, March 9th, 16th, and 27th. The Pit in Manhattan? Where's
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on 24th Street between Park and Lex. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Of course, yeah, we'll plug it in. Richard Sherman, okay. You wanted to talk about him. We talked about him a bit. Give us your thoughts on Richard Sherman.
I just, I wonder what the big deal is. I don't know what you got.
I don't think I agree with you. I mean, come
don't-
on. The guy, the biggest play of his life, he's just got out of a war. He went a little nuts with a
He's
guy
little
he's got a
pumped up.
rivalry with.
You know, the funniest thing is they always go to him after every single game.
And they get
Because he
exactly
gives
what they
good
want.
tape.
Right.
And then he gives great tape.
They're hypocrites.
And Aaron Andrews, listen, let me tell you something. Why do I know her name?
yeah, exactly.
Besides for the fact that she had a peeping Tom.
You're right.
She had the can you even imagine what that interview would have been like if she just went with it and not get startled?
She got to
Yeah.
watch because she's a lady.
She bugged out.
And
She went right to the booth.
Exactly. Dan Dierdorf would have handled that differently. Because
See, I'm not sure-
He's an ugly guy. Ugly guy should be. That's an ugly guy thing. Do good-looking people have to have everything? We can't have an ugly guy on the sideline talking to Richard Sherman?
Is he retiring? This is his year, right? Dan Dierdorf? I think he's done, right?
Yeah, he's done.
Superb defense. Look at the 49ers. Ronnie Lott hits Mark Bavaro. Mark Bavaro doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where he is. I hated him. He favored the Niners in every Monday night game.
I wasn't a big fan of Dan either. Too.
'Cause
I
I'm
thought
a Giant
you were,
fan.
so I was kind of
No,
like
yeah,
sitting
but-
back.
Just saying, because he would have handled that. Richard Sherman, what a defensive play. What the hell are you talking about? So I agree with you. What's the big deal about what he did? You know?
You know what? Maybe they called her, maybe let her know from the booth, end it because the Super Bowl's coming up. And,
Right.
you know, you don't want to have like this crazy dude on TV, like scaring all the people that might watch the Super Bowl that aren't football fans.
Here's the thing. Them making a big deal about it ruined it. They should have just shut up and made believe, like, don't apologize or anything, because then he would have given that kind of tape for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
At the
know,
media
yeah,
coverage,
yeah.
now he knows to dummy up. Now everybody gets why they don't do that anymore. So now he's going to be a bore.
Do you really?
I
Do you think
doubt
he can
that.
control?
I
I'm-
hope.
I'm not sure he can control himself.
I
though.
hope.
You know, he
I
just
hope.
looks like a
Yeah.
guy who's riled up.
Yeah. Just say something, you got to get a real, like, Michael Crabtree thinks you wear, like, little white sneakers or something. Get really crazy with him.
I'm wondering what Michael Crabtree said about him, though.
Yeah.
Well, like, it was just, like, taunting that he's, he could, he's better at, I don't know, like, beating,
Yeah.
just beating him.
Something.
It must have been
You're
something.
garbage.
I mean,
something just real.
something
basic.
in between Richie Incognito and I don't know. Maybe the Richie Incognito thing to me, again, as offensive and disgusting as that was, again, it's football players being football players. As
They couldn't
horrible as
break that
sounds.
guy, though. They couldn't break him.
Yeah.
He's no matter what, you're not breaking me. He says, I'm going to be a freaking.
This is what I am.
Yeah, because when you're playing football, they're trying to toughen you up.
And clearly had a relationship with that guy to where maybe that was acceptable, and the guy something got that guy mad, and he blew the whistle, and now he ruined it for both of them.
Because he didn't want to get toughened up.
That's
Most
right.
of the time, you win that battle.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
You know, they
And now-
toughened him up.
Right.
Because he was a good ball player, obviously. They drafted him.
Yeah, it was okay.
So they just wanted to toughen him up a little bit more.
An offensive line, that really is the pit. That is the mosh pit of sports, man. That's where stuff gets really down and dirty.
Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I tell you, I like Peyton Manning. I met him a couple of times. He's actually been nice to me, so I'm kind of rooting for him to get
Me
another
too.
ring.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always go with the good D. But I think, well, I don't know. We should.
That's a
we're
tough
going to
call.
take a break. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Mark DeMayo, one-man show, 20 and Out at the Pit, March 9th, 16th, and 27th. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Trying to prove my point about Richard Sherman. He gave a press conference, 45 minutes. Listen to what he sounds like now.
The only reason it bothers me is because it seems like it's the accepted way of calling somebody the N-word nowadays. It's like everybody else said the N-word, and then they say thug, and they're like, oh, that's fine. And that's where it's kind of, it kind of takes me aback, and it's kind of disappointing because they know what's the definition of a thug really? You know, can a guy on a football field just talking to people, you know, maybe I'm talking loudly and doing something, you know, talking like I'm not supposed to, but I'm not, you know, there was a hockey game where they didn't even play hockey. They just threw the puck aside and started fighting.
Listen, I like him. I'm a fan of his. I disagree with the thug thing. Thug was an Italian thing for years. Lucky Luciano was a thug. It was an inner city guy who, had some issues.
Well, he's
thug.
saying...
I don't think... I could be wrong. In a lot of people's worlds, that could be what that means to them, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but I kind of disagree. I think he's overreacting to the thug thing. But
well, from his perspective, I mean, he's from Compton.
Right.
And he says he was called a thug for his whole life because he was from Compton. And he was always trying to
was that a
prove
black
to people...
thing? Was that a black thing?
I don't know if that matters. He's saying people called him a thug.
As a New York City cop, Mark, is thug mean a black guy to you specifically, or a ne'er-do-well?
Well, the point is, people called him that. Like, it doesn't matter if it means a black guy or not.
I understand what John's saying. Like,
well, he's saying it's another way to say the N-word, though.
There's a 1,000,001 words that they're creating right now just to say the same thing.
Right, exactly.
They're animals after knockout games. So it's like there's a lot of words that they're using.
There's a lot of ways to go to be offensive.
To say the same thing, and that's coming from, I just watched 12 Years a Slave and The Butler doing yesterday, so I'm all caught up in this whole thing.
Look, a lot of euphemisms there's a lot of euphemisms that mean black, right? Absolutely, and they got to put up with that.
Well,
but I never thought thug was, specifically that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought what he said was fascinating, because he was saying his whole life he was dealing with people calling him this and that because of where he was from, and he always wanted to break that stereotype. And he did.
Well, he certainly did.
I mean, he was second in his class in high schools, and then went to Stanford and got a degree there.
See, that's what the guy sounds like after he didn't make the biggest play of his life, and
He's
he just came off the field.
He was so pumped up. That was a great play.
And that's what makes him such a great player, man. He plays with emotion. I think that's important.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot of football players that play emotionless that are good.
You can't.
Well, that's what they look for when they're scouting talent.
Yeah.
What do they look for when they're scouting talent? They're scouting for the kid who's got the edge, the chip on his shoulder.
Exactly.
That's what they want. They want the kid who's going to push harder.
Yeah. You need emotion in competitive stuff,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm a fan of the guy. I can't wait. I personally can't wait for the game. We went into the commercial talking about predictions. I usually go with defense, but you can say, like Peyton, the way he beats the blitz and stuff, who knows? I'm rooting for Peyton. I want to see him get another ring. Like you said, Mark, no debate. Best ever, probably. But I don't know. I usually like the defense. I feel
like I just don't even know where I stand right now in this game. And I said early that the weather did matter. Yeah. That if it snows, if it's really inclement, that favors the Seahawks, because the great defense, the great running game. But when I went back and watched the Broncos game again today, and their D-line played an incredible football game against the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, Terrence Knighton inside, he's just huge. They call him pot roast. He's 350-pound nose tackle.
That's a great name.
He absolutely dominated that game. And if he plays like that, I don't know if anyone can run the ball on the Broncos, even Marshawn Lynch and the Seahawks. So, man, the more I think about it, and the more I watch, and the more I debate within myself, the less I feel like I know.
If
about
Peyton
this
has
game.
happy feet, his offensive line isn't protecting him the
he's
way
not
they did against.
He's not a mobile quarterback.
But I think Russell Wilson. I think he's going to be a little shaky. I think
what if it's
the
slippery
Super Bowl
and it's a horrible weather? Like, that really could happen now.
Five crappy weeks he had, and now you're in the Super Bowl. I think he could get shook.
He's not
couple
prepared.
of turnovers.
He's not prepared.
Yeah.
Listen, Mark DeMayo, one-man show, 20 and out, at the Pit, March 9th, 16th, and 27th.
Thank you so much for having me.
Come
by the
back
way.
anytime.
Oh my
brother.
God,
Mark DeMayo.
I love coming here. Thank you.
Anytime. Lynn Koplitz, thank you. Rich Guzzi, thank you so much. John Sally, back tomorrow.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.